Hey, this is Anney.
And Samantha.
And welcome to Stuff I Never Told You, a production of iHeartRadio.
And today we are highlighting the amazing works of Guerline Jozef, a Haitian activist who's been working to fight for her community and other refugees around the world. And yes, obviously, we're still carrying on and making sure we are talking about all the peoples, no matter what month it is, for feminists around the world. And we will never stop. It's Women's History Month now, so we're talking more women's.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise. And yes, we were talking women's as in inclusive of every person who identifies as women. Mm-hmm. And according to amnesty.org, as of July 2023, she runs the only Black and Haitian women-led organization that works to help migrants on either side of the U.S.-Mexico border, which is the Haitian Bridge Alliance, or HBA, or also known as The Bridge. Jozef has been outspoken about the needs of the migrant community and the racist and inhumane treatment of the refugees. She's been at the forefront of not only working to educate the public and migrants of the needs and dangers the migrant community faces, but she's been a political activist working to seek political and social change.
Jozef started her advocacy activism as a child, witnessing the inequalities and mistreatment of so many of her community. In a 2021 Forbes article titled "A Black Immigrant's Mission to Center Black Migrants at the Southern Border," they quote, "Jozef remembers when her father took her to meet Abner Louima, a Haitian immigrant wrongfully arrested, handcuffed, and forcefully sodomized with a broken broomstick by 2 New York City Police Department officers. As a little girl, I had a chance to bear witness to real violence against Black bodies. I remember holding my father's hand as he took me to visit Mr. Louima in the hospital," said Jozef, co-founder and executive director of the Haitian Bridge Alliance. While a Haitian, just like me, it was clear that those 2 officers saw his color before they ever considered his immigration status or country of origin, Jozef continued. Seeing Abner Louima laying in that bed, barely breathing and missing most of his teeth, made it clear that my Blackness and my immigration status are interconnected. And the article continues, "That moment in 1997, coupled with a 2015 phone call from a colleague about Haitian migrants seeking asylum on the U.S.-Mexico border, turned Jozef from an outspoken immigration advocate to a Black immigrant woman on a mission to center Black immigrants, those already in the United States, and especially those praying and hoping for entry and refuge on America's southern border."
And with that, she started her organization, the Haitian Bridge Alliance. So here's what their website says. The Haitian Bridge Alliance, HBA, also known as The Bridge, is a grassroots nonprofit community organization that advocates for fair and humane immigration policies and provides migrants and immigrants with humanitarian, legal, and social services with a particular focus on Black people, the Haitian community, women and girls, LGBTQIA+ individuals, and survivors of torture and other human rights abuse. It goes on, "We focus on the issues unique to Black migrants and build solidarity and collective movement toward policy change. We work closely with the Black migrant communities throughout the United States, progressive coalitions fighting anti-Blackness, and advocate locally, nationally, and internationally for fair and just immigration policies. We're working to end racist border policies like the Remain in Mexico policy Title 42 and the border to prison and deportation pipeline. We advocate for the expansion of TPS protection for more communities, DACA, and an overhaul of the asylum system that centers dignity and passion, not cruelty." Since 2016, HBA has regularly brought delegations of lawyers, doctors, and other volunteers to the San Diego-Tijuana border to provide humanitarian relief to Haitian and other Black migrants from Africa. We also work with Haitian migrants in Tapachula, Mexico, and were the first organizations on the ground during the Del Rio emergency. We aim to transform the perception of the border from the misguided stereotype that it only impacts a certain set of people to trans-American global space that includes Black people, because immigration is a Black issue.
And here is a bit directly about Jozef and her work within the organization. Quote, "With many hands, the work is light." This Haitian proverb serves as Guerline Jozef's inspiration and the vision behind the Haitian Bridge Alliance in 2015. Guerline is a human rights advocate who dedicates her life to bringing awareness to issues that affect us all locally and globally, such as immigration, domestic violence, child sexual abuse, and other human rights issues. And she and her organization have been doing their continuous work in order to get justice and help for the migrant community. And a part of that work has been to fight against Title 42 in the U.S., which was finally lifted in 2023, but a lot of heavy stipulations were still put into place.
Right. And just a note, Title 42 is, quote, created to address public health and social welfare and grants the government the ability to take emergency action in numerous ways, including to stop the introduction of communicable diseases. While the code has been in place for decades, it was used widely beginning in March 2020 by the administration of then-President Donald Trump in order to regulate border crossings under the premise of increased COVID-19 precautions. The Trump administration used Title 42 essentially to override immigration law that allowed people to ask for asylum after entering illegally and said we could send them back across the border, arguing that taking migrants into custody in federal facilities would create more of a public health risk. And that was from a PBS article.
And recently, Jozef and the Bridge helped bring a lawsuit against the current administration for, quote, racial discrimination and rights violations of Haitian asylum seekers. In truthout.org, they write, the suit was brought on behalf of 11 Haitian asylum seekers who were abused by U.S. border agents as more than 15,000 people, mostly from Haiti, were forced to stay in a makeshift border encampment on the banks of the Rio Grande near the Acuña del Rio International Bridge in Texas. One of the plaintiffs is Guerline Jozef, the asylum seeker whose image went viral after being photographed while a Border Patrol agent on horseback lashed him with split reins, grabbed his neck, and gripped Jozef by the shirt collar.
Right. And they quoted Jozef in that article as her saying, this is a critical junction in our country here in the United States as we make sure to uphold human rights and understanding seeking asylum is a human right. We will continue to push forward and make sure that accountability is served, but also we have systematic change in the way that we receive people in the United States. And just as a side, the lawsuit was originally filed in 2021, but was just heard last week.
And according to the transcript from the hearing, Jozef testified for what they were asking for in that hearing. Quote, there are a few things we are asking for. We'll be able to share more as the case continues. But one of the things we are asking is accountability, justice for those people to be able to get a fair access to protection as they continue to barely survive because the conditions in Haiti continue to be extremely difficult and the deportation and expulsions of those people were found to be unacceptable. So we will continue to fight. And we are grateful that the judge listened to our request to continue this case. And even though the government said that our case had no basis. And what the world saw is that what we witnessed. But we will continue to push forward and make sure that accountability is served. But also we have systematic change in the way that we receive people in the United States and making sure we have a fair, just immigration system where people can continue to seek asylum and seek protection.
Obviously, she and her organization are quite busy. Again, like we said, last week was a hearing in front of the judges. And just to add to her many roles, here's a bit of information on other things that Jozef has been a part of and continues to do, according to her biography on docs.house.gov. Ms. Jozef created Tales from the U.S.-Mexico Borderlands and Beyond, an immigration information session focusing on Black immigrants in the borderlands and beyond. She is also a co-creator of Faith in Action and Immigration Justice Movement in Southern California, a 4-part immigration program for both impacted communities and allies. Ms. Jozef uses her platform FYI, For Your Inspiration, radio located in Mission Behel with correspondents in Africa to give a voice to the voiceless coast to coast and around the world. Ms. Jozef also served as an advisory member to Voices Against Violence in their efforts to prevent domestic violence in California and around the world. She was the chairwoman of Word in Action from 2013 to 2019, a nonprofit organization that aims to prevent and decrease the occurrence of child sexual abuse.
And here are some accolades she has received according to the National Alliance for Advancement of Haitian Professionals. Quote, Ms. Jozef was named one of Politico's 2021 40 Most Influential People on Race, Politics, and Policy in the United States for her leadership and is the recipient of prestigious awards. Most recently, the Los Americas 2021 Border Heroes Award, the 2021 Robert F. Kennedy Human Rights Award, the 2022 National Haitian American Elected Officials Network Community Champion Award, and the 2022 American Immigration Lawyers Association's Arthur C. Helton Human Rights Award. That's quite a mouthful, but she deserves all of those awards and more.
I know these awards are great, but the fact that we have to attach people's names on it and make it even longer instead of being just American Immigration Lawyers Association or Human Rights Award, it just seems unnecessary.
I feel like I nailed the landing.
You did. You nailed everything about that. Anyway, and by the way, these are just her recent awards. She has a bigger list, started way back early 2000s, 2019. She received so many more that we're just not going down the list. She doesn't have a Wikipedia page, which is horrifying to me because I'm like, she's won all these accolades. I don't understand. And she's doing so much work with Haitian community and the immigrant situation. Obviously, again, doing some amazing things. She was testifying in front of the White House as well. I think she actually had a whole thing where it was presented to President Biden as well in these conversations. And again, had a huge part in taking down or making sure that Title 42 wasn't re-signed or renewed. And I think it actually went away in 2023. So it was supposed to go away in 2021, but it stuck around under the guise that COVID, this is a COVID measure, which is abhorrent anyway. But yes, amazing works from Guerline Jozef. And I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more, especially with that case.
Yes. And if any listeners, because I know we've talked about this before, if you have the time and the interest of making a Wikipedia page, you can. Here's a suggestion. And if you have any suggestions for us, for people we could cover in this segment or organizations we could cover, you can let us know. You can email us at stephaniemomstuff@iheartmedia.com. You can find us on Twitter at momstuffpodcast or on Instagram and TikTok at Stuff I'll Never Told You. We have a TeePublic store and we have a book you can get wherever you get your books. Thanks as always to our super producer Christina, our executive producer Maya, and our contributor Joey.
Thank you.
And thanks to you for listening. Stuff I'll Never Told You is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, you can check out the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.